So I think I made a mistake. This is gonna be something that I'm gonna have to live with for years, and I don't love it in here.
I'm getting so close to being able to apply for my framing inspection. I have like one giant task left to do, and it's electrical. For context, this is Simple Living with Biata. I've been building my dream home and homestead from scratch for the last 2 years. I've learned so many new trades along the way, and I've done electrical before on my meter disconnect panel, and I've hooked up some of the things in our house already, but I've never done anything to this extent where I'm gonna have 3-way switches, and it's gonna be a little bit complicated. So our friend is coming in to show me how some of it is done. Technically, because I have the permit out in my name, I'm the one who has to do the work, but he's gonna be here explaining things and helping me along the learning process.
And then from on these ends, we'll have 3 ways, and then here, from there, we'll go up and into your lights. So
Okay.
from there, we'll go up and into your kitchen lights, and then up and into your living room lights.
Okay.
2 feet is here.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty tight to the wall.
That's too tight to the wall?
You wanna bring it 24 out, so you wanna bring it wherever 24 is would be here, and then put it straight up from there. So yeah, you're looking kind of like that. Would probably be your best bet.
Oh, does that look fun? What if we just go 32 inches up to the first set of pot lights, because that's where about 24 is off the wall, and then another 32 inches from there.
So we just spent like the last hour and a half. Eddie helped me map everything out, figuring out where everything's going to go, how the pot lights are going to go into this section. We have it all kind of measured out where I want them to go. Now I have to go up and start drilling the holes into the roof rafters. They're not trusses, so they can have a hole drilled through them. And that's how we're gonna run the wire from rafter to rafter. The holes are drilled, and now we're running the transfer wires. Control. What? Travelers! I keep calling them transfer wires. These are the travelers. This is the way that there is an ability to have multiple switches controlling the lights. So we have 4 switches controlling the pot lights in the living room and 3 switches controlling the pot lights in the kitchen. Find the hole I made. There we go. And do you leave like slack up?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, hello, little spider. Holy, that was tight.
So just try to make sure that those are as center as possible though.
Okay, that way it's 1.5 inch.
Good. Stagger.
Yeah.
That gives you more room. So you want to start on this side.
Oh, and go back.
Yeah.
All right, it is a new day. I didn't really vlog much yesterday because Eddie and I were just laying out the whole house. He was teaching me how to actually do the things. He taught me how to run not transfer wires, traveler wires. So that way I'm gonna be able to turn on my kitchen lights in 3 locations and living room lights in 4 locations. And I have like my list. I have a couple of drawings helping me remember how to do things. We have things labeled with circuit 1 and circuit 2, and circuit 3 and circuit 4 and circuit 5. But today, I think I'm gonna work on the living room pot lights. The power is coming to this box from the panel, and then all of these transfer wires, and all of these traveler wires, the 14.3, run to each box. So to that box only has the living room lights. And then back over to this side of the house, over to this switch box. So this switch box is going to be where all of the wires run from for the actual pot lights. I did not know how this was gonna work. I did not understand the concept of travelers. I thought each box was gonna have to have the wires from the pot lights, but it makes sense because the 14.3 is what's like traveling the energy, I think. I'm gonna have 2 rows of pot lights running down the rafters here. The top row is going to be lined up with this seam here and the sliding door. And then halfway from this point to that point is going to be the first row. Eddie thought of that. I loved that. I'm having a hard time deciding how far apart each light should go. I'm seeing that the way you normally work it out is you take the height of your space and divide it by 2, but the height of my space varies, right? I officially have my pot light plan. The spacing between each light is going to be 33 inches. It's a little bit closer together than the recommended 3 to 4 feet apart though. It is my only thought, but they are really tall ceilings, so it might be nice to have them closer together. I have my block cut at 33 1/4. That's gonna provide even spacing for the pot lights. Doesn't need to be perfect for the rough end, but I wanna be able to see on the wall kind of where it needs to go. I think we're fitting just under 40 pot lights on this circuit alone. And a circuit is the breaker. Okay, we're gonna go up. We're gonna leave a loop. We're going up. I need a tape. Shoot. You have to work from the other side, don't you? And move your way back. No, but how would you do that? Because I gotta go through all these holes and I gotta go up and down and up and down. How do you do that? Because you gotta get it through all the holes and pull slack. Do I just start by pulling it through the holes? I was gonna try to pull like a full straight shoot of all of this, and I was gonna like leave loops and not cut them, but honestly that is so much work to do it that way. I'm not going to do it that way, I don't think. So hard to film right now, but getting my wire over for the next light, I'll come back and do this. So I have this light hanging. The next light needs to go up, so I'll make a loop and then down in a loop. And then I'll bring it over to the switch and cut it. 2 lights done.
I didn't have much time that day because I had to plan for a girls' trip and a weekend away, but now it's Monday morning.
I am gonna continue wiring this. I did not get done what I wanted to get done, but hopefully I can today. This was the little spool that I bought way back in the day. I don't even remember what for, but it's gone. And you definitely need the larger rolls of the 14-2. That's what you're gonna use the most of in your home. 14-2 is for basically all 15 amp breakers. And then 12-2 right here, that's mainly gonna be used in the kitchen for plugs. Okay, time to get the pot lights in the living room done. I almost got this side done, and then I looked up and realized I'm missing a pot light right here at the top. Sometimes I wonder about myself. You guys even see this? It's so hard to film up here. One half of the living room is complete.
I absolutely love starting new projects, and when I decided to take on the electrical, I definitely got really overwhelmed. I even called an electrician to see what they would charge for it, and then I thought, you know what? I think I can do this, and I'm so glad I decided to. There's still so much to learn with an electrical that obviously Eddie is gonna have to go over with me, but I'm thankful to be able to take it one step at a time.
One whole loop is done. I have the living room lighting officially complete for the pot lights. Now, it is a lot of pot lights, and I don't know if I'm gonna regret that or not, but I feel like it's better to have more and have them on dimmers. Okay, it is lunchtime. I don't normally like document this portion of my day, and I don't know why. I don't think I've sat outside and eaten by myself since we moved here. I'm trying my best to eat like rich foods that my body needs depending on where I'm at in my hormone cycle. I know this doesn't apply to most of the men who watch this, but if you have a wife, then it's good to learn. We literally are different hormonally every single day for 30 days, where men get 24-hour hormone cycles. That's why a lot of men can meal prep and eat the same thing every single day, and why women tend to not be able to do that. So right now I'm eating iron-rich foods, high protein and high fat foods, which is going to give me the support that I need right now. Oh, I need to do this more often. This is so nice. It's so beautiful. As I shared a month or so back, life has been a lot lately, things that kind of are out of my control. And I'm sorry to be vague, but I'm trying to learn to let go, not take so much on mentally. I'm starting to meditate, I'm going to therapy, I'm trying to get nutritious foods into my body. I'm trying to turn a bit of a page here and feel better after a really big season of burnout. Time to do the kitchen spotlights. For the kitchen lighting, it's going to be pot lights on either side. There's going to be floating shelves here that I'm also going to put pots underneath. And then I have a few decisions to make on sconces or pendants. I'm hoping it'll look okay and that it won't look too busy up there. We're gonna have white pot light gimbals that can angle which way.
And just like that is the end of another day.
Good morning. I was ready to start on a new circuit today, but I noticed one thing when I walked in. It's really not that huge of a deal other than this was like the hardest part to work around. Having to get a ladder in here was a little tricky, so I have to redo that.
I just have one section of pot lights that are on the wrong side of the rafter. I guess I didn't see the right mark on the wall.
I need something else. I don't know, this isn't gonna work very well. I don't want to damage the wire. This is so tricky. I have nowhere to lean. I have nowhere to hold. I don't have any reach here, so I gotta pull the wire out. There we go. Come on. Yay. Yay. Whew. All fixed. Okay, I'm gonna move on. I'm not fully sold on how I want my lighting in the kitchen, so I'm gonna stop working in this space and start moving on to the bedrooms. I have to plan out the next circuit. Daddy and I already planned it out pretty well, but I'm still kind of just trying to figure out what lights are gonna go on this circuit and all of that. So I'm gonna have 4 pots in here, and then a ceiling fan, 2 pots in the cabinetry closet. And this room is the office, and 4 pot lights and 1 fan. This is the thing about electrical that I didn't understand and how it would all work. I thought that you would have to like bring each set of lights to the breaker, but then you would have a massive panel with like every single thing on its own breaker. So what you do is you bring the feed line in. So the feed line is going to go all the way from the panel over to this room to the box that's going to be here. Then it's going to feed in, and then it's going to feed out and go to the next room and feed in there. That ensures each switch box has power, and then from there you run each loop, like the 4 pot lights in here, the 2 pot lights in the closet, and the 1 fan. They're all on their own loop, and you run power to each of those, which I don't know how to do yet, but that's okay. One thing at a time. We don't need to know absolutely every single detail. Now, the only other thing I need to make sure is that the wires aren't touching the supply. So the supply has warm air coming into the house, so you don't want your wires overheating, so it just needs to be far enough away from that. I'm gonna start with the feed in, because my scaffolding is already in the right place. And all I need is the 14-2 wire, 15 amp breaker. I think I'm gonna bring the line up on this board here. You bring your line all the way from the other end, bring it to where you want to be, and then start working your way backwards. And bring it to the floor. Feed M's room. Perfect. Now to work backwards. Okay, power. shower is officially on this side of the house. Unfortunately, I need to go to the doctor's office. A while back, I think it was back in October or November, I shared that I have lumps on my shins and that I got diagnosed with erythema nodosum, and it's supposed to go away in like 6 weeks, maybe a couple months, but I've had it for almost 10 months. And so I'm going to the doctor's now, getting a biopsy on the lumps on my shins. All right, I am back. It's definitely painful. They froze the lump on my leg to be able to take the biopsy, and it was kind of gross. But anyways, I should hear back in the next week or so. Hopefully it's okay. She said there's no concern of cancer or anything like that, that she still thinks it's erythema nodosum, but wants to get more information on it. And if it's not that, then I need to maybe go somewhere to see a dermatologist. I don't know, but I'm definitely not going to work the rest of the day because it hurts to be on my legs. And tomorrow I'm off to an event, so I won't be working tomorrow either. Hopefully by the next day I'm feeling better. Well, good morning. It's now a few days later, and yesterday I went to the city. I got to look at tile choices. I bought these new pants. Finally found a pair of trades pants that fit me and are comfortable by Dovetail. Size down, by the way, if you're a woman, they fit really big. So I have not taken a look. My doctor told me to keep the bandage on for a few days. My biopsy, it's still really painful. I get just like shooting pain here and there all around where that spot was that she took the biopsy. So I'm gonna take a look now and, you know, clean it up, get a new bandage on it. I need to wash my hands. I'll pet you for a bit instead though. Ah! There's a straight up hole in my leg. No wonder this hurts so much. It's literally a hole. Oh. Okay, back at it. It is time to pull wires for this room. So I've got the fan in the middle, the 4 pot lights. It's hard because there's gonna be a closet here. Okay, so I gotta figure out how far off the wall I want it. So the thing with ceiling fans is you wanna make sure that no pot lights are like underneath them because it can cause strobing effects. For the 4 pot lights, I'm gonna come up from the switch, go to my first pot light, come over, go to my second pot light, run it across this way. I don't need any runner board because it's under 3 feet tall, which is great, and run it to the last 2 pot lights over here. These are only 30 inches. So 1 and 2. Other than I need to get an octagon box for a fan for this room, and I need to bring the fire alarm into this room. This room is done-ish. You know, like I still gotta deal with like the boxes and everything. I'm gonna run the wire from this room into the next room to power the next room. So this guy is labeled feed in because it's bringing the power from the panel to that room and then over into this room. So this room's the same other than the window is centered differently in this room than it is the other room. And so I don't know if I want to center the fan to the middle of this window or if I want to center the fan to the middle of the room. The only thing is the center of this window is right under a truss. So that's not gonna work out very well. I'm gonna go get a fan box.
It's seriously just like out by an inch.
Like it would be off center by an inch. I don't know. Being off an inch isn't too bad. Okay, I heard back from my friend who's an interior designer. We went to university together and we were next door dorm neighbors, and she agrees with me that it should be centered to this window, and that being an inch off center is really not going to be that noticeable, but it will be noticeable if it's not centered to the window. Like if it's, 2 feet off the window, it's just gonna look really misplaced, especially with how I want this room designed. So I'm going with a built-in bookcase here now. It's gonna be a foot off the wall. My desk is gonna be centered in the middle of the room to the window. The fan is gonna be overhead. I'll probably have like a floor lamp or something cute here. And it also determines where I want the pot lights to be. So I also think that the pot lights should kind of be centered in this portion of the room. So if it's 2 feet off the wall this way, it brings it to this stud. Then the pot lights on this side of the room should also be in line here. That leaves this portion without pot lights, but that's okay, because if we ever want to turn this into a bedroom, this is going to be a closet anyways. I'm gonna have a couch in here. I do like editing on my couch. It's gonna be a pull out so that guests can come over, and then we can just have floor lamps here.
I finished up wiring the office and I'm really happy with how it turned out, but I need to talk about something that's been eating at me for days.
So I think I made a mistake, and instead of leaving it, I think I should fix it, because this is gonna be something that I'm gonna have to live with for years, and I just don't love it in here. The pot lights are too close together, and I got a lot of input on this and went with something that was closer together because I was like, the more light the better. But this is too much light. I would love to know your thoughts. I just think it's too much. The thing with vaulted ceilings is that they're supposed to be a showpiece, and you don't really want a lot of things to distract from the showpiece. And lighting can distract from the showpiece. Even if the lights are off, there's going to be so many dots of pot lights that it's just gonna be too much. I would like about half of the amount of lights. I do like the double rows. I think it looks good. Luckily, I did go from one pot light to the next without snipping any wires. And so I do have long lines that I'm gonna be able to pull off and not waste a ton of wire. So that's good, but it is it's gonna require more work, and I just don't have the time to fit it all into this week's video. But I wanna know your thoughts. I'm pretty sure I'm sold on redoing it. I really would like to redo it. Do you agree with me? Is there too many pot lights in here?
I'm so excited to finish up the electrical. I'm so excited for next week. I think it's just gonna look so good when I get all of these fixes done. And with that, I will see you next week.